right, what's up, glorious, glorified community? Welcome to our latest edition of the Path to Glory podcast. I'm Omar Farouk, CEO and co-founder of Glorify, the e-commerce design tool, product-focused design tool for entrepreneurs that all of you guys love, of course. Now, if you sell physical products online, particularly on Shopify, today's podcast is a must listen for you, particularly because we've got a dropshipping wizard at our presence. Now, who will give you priceless advice that you can use to optimize your online store and, of course, grow and scale your business. So I'm really excited for this particular session, and I'm excited to welcome to you Mordechai Arba to our podcast today. Mordechai is a serial store launcher with numerous successful online stores. He's launched a few online stores that did not work out to be so successful, and from that, we truly believe that he can give you a complete overview of the ups and downs of building and sustaining an online store business. I mean, those that succeed really learn from their failures, and Mordechai has been through it all, and so we're here to pick his mind through his experience and get all of the tips, the insights, and the advice for all of you guys to launch your very own online stores and get success with that. Now, with all of his knowledge and experience launching online stores, Mordechai founded Ecomhunt, a platform to help store owners particularly easily find winning products and build stable online store businesses. Something that I personally also find really interesting about him is that if you come across the Ecomhunt platform and go through their blog specifically, you'll find that he does e-com store reviews. And I think this is really powerful because I found these reviews not only to be very informative, but I learned quite a bit myself because he pretty much focuses on every aspect on improving these online stores and giving you practical and actionable steps to fix the shortcomings. And so taking all of this into consideration, I guess calling him an e-com wizard is no understatement. Now, let's give a warm welcome to Mordechai so that we can deep dive into his story and learn about his take on building a successful online store. What is up, Mordechai? How you been, man?
What is up? Thanks for this amazing intro. I'm feeling honored to be here on this podcast, and I hope that the listeners will find some good tips from what I'm about to share with them. And let's get started, man.
Absolutely, man. I mean, first things first, Mordechai, would love to learn a little bit about yourself. So before your success as a dropshipper and entrepreneur, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you were doing before all of this. How did you catch the entrepreneurship bug, as they call it?
Yeah, so this is actually a really long story. I don't think we have that much time, but it all began when I first heard about Mark Zuckerberg, and I saw his success on the news when I was, I don't remember which age, but I was really young. And when I saw that, the first thing crossed my mind was like, man, if he can do it, I can do it as well. Like, why not? And I started my journey as a web designer and then a web developer. And at some point, after you build other people ideas and projects, because this is what you do as a developer. You build a website, you build softwares, and basically you spend years of your life building other people's dreams. And at some point, I realized that I want to do something of my own, And this is pretty much when I stood up for myself and went to my boss and told him, like, hey, I quit. I'm going to build something for myself. And this is when it all began. The journey of entrepreneurship.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, that is very relatable to me as well, because I come from a design background, and specifically in design, I went through a very similar journey where like you said, we're building other people's dreams and not building anything substantial for ourselves. And, I think as creative people, as builders, as technicians, as designers, we love to, create stuff and that is meaningful, right? And creating client work is great up to a certain level, and then eventually you feel that you don't get as much fulfillment anymore for it. And I'm totally with you there, man. So I think a lot of people in our audience will relate to this particular journey as well. Now, I'd like to know a little bit more about how you first got into drop shipping. Before we actually touch on your first successful store, how did you get into drop shipping? What was the reason? Why do you choose drop shipping as a business model?
Yeah, well, actually, I didn't really choose dropshipping. It's more like dropshipping chose me. Uh, well, I recall being a developer in a company, and I will always remember that day when I talked to a friend of mine, which is in different industries, like a salesperson, and he told me like, "Hey, I met this guy in at Thailand, and he's doing something called solo ads." And I was like, "What is this solo ads?" And he started to explain it's basically when you buy from someone else access to his email list, and you can send them an offer to whatever you want to sell. So this is where it all began, and I started selling emails this way. And to be honest, I never found any success by doing that. And one day, that person that shared his experience with solo ads shared the new experience with print on demand with using Teespring. And I started to dig down what is this Teespring thing, what is print on demand. And luckily, I was really happy to see that it's basically built for designers, because if you know how to design beautiful t-shirts and you know what t-shirts people will love, you can basically start making sales online because they take care of the rest. Like they will fulfill it, they will print it, they will do everything else. So this is the first time I ever tried to sell something online, even before dropshipping. This is where it all began in terms of selling physical products, you know. And from there, after doing a lot of failing Teespring campaigns for I think at least 5 months, I spent over $5,000. And one day, I remember launching a campaign that actually made a few sales. So I was super happy to see that actually you can actually make sales online, because at some point you start to believing that everything is BS and everything is a scam, and there is no sales online, and you cannot really start selling stuff online if you're not an established business or an established brand. And when I got those sales, I understood that, man, there is a potential here. And this is when I fell in love with this selling online industry. And yeah, pretty much a month later, a friend of mine told me about Shopify and dropshipping, and this is when I started to dropship, basically.
Right on, man. I mean, a couple of things that, again, I just want to touch on that you said there that really resonated with me particularly is there's so many business models today, like the first one that you started being Teespring, that the whole infrastructure is set up for you. So literally, like any entrepreneur that wants to get into business right now, there's literally no excuse, right? You can pick, it's like kind of browsing and shopping for businesses that you want to launch tomorrow, right? And so we've got so much technology and so much much more advantage than people like say 10, 20 years ago today to launch your next business. And like you said when you first got your first sale, I think there's no better feeling. The first sale that you get online is like, wow, it actually works, right? And it's just that amazing feeling that I personally remember my first sale, and I just feel that the cogs were working after that, and then you get the next sale. The next sale, it's just self-fulfilling, and it's a beautiful experience. Yeah, man. Your first big drop shipping store, as I would like to call it, was selling photography gear, specifically in the year 2017, where you generated more than $1 million in sales. Now, could you walk us through that experience? Because there's a lot of dropshippers in our community, and they'd love to know, what it took you to get to scale your dropshipping business to that extent.
Yeah, that's actually, it was a mess. I know that most people like to give hope and dreams and make you want to dropship because they are obviously selling something afterwards. But I have to be honest with you guys. Dropshipping is not easy. It's a real business in terms of everything. And I had to learn this in the hard way. And getting from $0 to $1 million in sales, it was a mess. It was super hard. And I will explain exactly what we did there. But just so you know, it's not an easy task. So if you're trying to drop shipping, try to start your online business, what I suggest you is to go for those sales and try to make your first sale and then another one, and just focus all the time on making small targets and not aim for these big numbers, because you will give up really fast if you give yourself a goal that will take so much time to achieve. So go for small targets and achieve them. In terms of the dropshipping store that I did back in 2017, it actually started with a simple dropshipping method that everyone is familiar with. We were dropshipping from AliExpress photography products. And at start, we didn't get any sales. So I had to pivot to do print on demand and start to design photography t-shirts. Unfortunately, it didn't work as well, but I didn't give up. So I tried to sell more and more products on this specific store till one day I got that winning product, and this is when the start started to pick up. So what I did is basically I started to research more about photography, and I went into Facebook groups with photographers. I went to magazines. I started to look for what is a winning product for a photographer, what a photographer would love to buy online, and at which price and what cost. So after doing this research, I stumbled upon this product, and it was kind of a tripod, a new way to move your camera around when it's hooked to your tripod when you're filming. And I found it really cool, and I was like, man, if I can find these products on AliExpress, I'm sure that it would explode. I'm sure it would do really good. And I was right. My feeling was right. I found this product on AliExpress, and we started selling it. But unfortunately, the results were not like what I wished for. We're breaking even and even a bit losing money. So I started to optimizing my store, optimizing my ads, trying different videos. At some point, I've even created a whole sales funnel. I actually built a funnel on ClickFunnels for this specific product. And one day I woke up and I was amazed to see that my ads are converting profitably, and I started to make sales. And this is basically when we started to pick up. And from that point, it wasn't so hard, but like it wasn't easy, but still we had to figure out a lot of stuff that today you don't even need to do anymore. So for example, we're trying to find an agent to buy in stocks, and back in 2017 it was super complicated. You had to go to Alibaba and try to find the right manufacturer, and sometimes they respond and it takes days until they answer you, and then they send it to other people, other agents, and it was a big mess until I found my Chinese agent that could actually source my product and buy stocks. And after I got the stocks, this is another phase, another problem that we faced is how do we ship from China to our customers like dropship way, like on AliExpress, but just with a stock. So we had to move really fast to warehouses and hire people in China. And then we experienced that it wasn't fast enough. So we had to move stuff to the States and then back to Europe. And basically we're all over the place. And we made so many mistakes by doing that and lost so much money on doing this process. So basically what I'm trying to say with all of this info is that being a dropshipper is good for an amount of money, like until some point. Like if you want to reach like $5,000 a month or 10K, AliExpress is fine. But as soon as you start scaling and you want to move to the 5 figures and then 6 figures and then 7 figures, every step of this process is a different setup. Like the logistics are different. Everything is different. Even the ads on Facebook are different. So just focus on just getting started. Focus on small goals. Try to make $100 a day. And then think about how you get bigger. Don't try to get bigger from day one. You will just give up really fast.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes total sense, Mordechai, because I personally haven't launched my own dropshipping business, but I've done Amazon. But even on Amazon, like the moment you scale, like you said, logistics gets more complicated. Sourcing products gets more a nightmare. And sometimes your supplier has a delay, or your supplier sells the same product to another customer, and then you got the exact same competition. And so there's a lot of trust factors. You got to build the relationships with the supplier and all that kind of stuff. So could you just tell me one thing? Would you actually call your business by the end of getting to that 5, 6, 7 figure, was that a drop shipping business anymore? Because it sounds to me like you were buying your products in stock by then.
Well, at some point, your business turns to be all of them at the same time.
Right.
What I mean is that you cannot put all the eggs in one basket. You need to know how to how do you say that, diversify. This is the right word for it. You need to know how to keep drop shipping and at the same time build the real brand, the real business behind the scenes. So on the front end, we'll keep testing products. We'll keep doing drop shipping on new products that we want to test, that we want to find new winners. And at the same time, we're building the back end, which is email marketing and retention of the customers, and making sure that we ship fast enough to the customers so they're happy, making quality checks, and basically building a real business behind the scene while you keep drop shipping and trying to find new winners to sell on your online store.
That model makes sense to me. It's something that personally I really want to test myself. So what you're saying essentially, Mordechai, is that you use drop shipping as a opportunity to test different products and see on a smaller scale. And then as you scale, you might source those products yourself, rebrand them, white label them, or whatever the case it is, and create a real brand around those products, essentially, once it's tested and proven, right? Am I getting this right here or not?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, man. This is really exciting. I think, again, this is a great value to our audience. So if you want to test products, use the drop shipping method. It's, there's less accountability in terms of, as you don't have to be so concerned about all the mechanics of business. The process, the system processes are there for you, and there's plenty of content for you to take to launch your business. Now, going into your journey, Mordechai, on as an entrepreneur, recently you founded, I'm not sure when exactly it was, but you founded Ecomhunt. As my understanding, it helps you find winning products. And I think through your journey, we've already discovered that your success was based on finding that winning product, specifically in photography. And it makes total sense to me why you shifted your expertise to Ecomhunt. But tell us a little bit about how Ecomhunt works.
Yeah. So before I explain how it works, basically, what happened is that at some point you realize that you cannot test all the products in the world, even if you find winner products. Because many people ask me, like, if you have all of these winners, why don't you sell them yourself? And at some point you realize you cannot sell everything. You need to focus on what you like and what you want to do. And this is basically when I came across this idea of creating Ecomhunt. And I wanted to build something for myself, like a web page for myself where I can go inside and post my winning products, the products that I want to test in the future, and I don't want them to get lost. So what I did is building this website that you see now, which is Ecomhunt, but back then it was just a simple personal website that me alone, that only me could access it. And what I did is basically putting the products there, and then for each product, I would start to do manual research and start searching for which targeting should I target whenever I'm ready to test this product. Take the pictures, write the description of these products, look at the reviews, look at the sales on AliExpress, and basically I started to do the entire work of research about a product and post it on that website, and with the goal that one day I will go again to my website and pick a product and everything will be ready for me to start selling. So this is what I did. And after building this website and started uploading products for weeks, I saw that I have like a huge library of amazing products that I'm not even testing because I was in the photography niche. And so at that moment, I realized that maybe other people could find this information useful. So I started sending Ecomhunt to about 50 friends of mine, and within a month, we went from 50 people that I shared the link with to 800 users on the website. And this is when I realized actually that I need to do something with it. Like, there is something here. I think I solved the problem, and I think I need to invest myself in Ecomhunt. And this is when I started to do full-time Ecomhunt. And basically what Ecomhunt is a platform where you can find the best products to sell right now. The products that we pick are products that are already proven to sell. We're doing we have a research team. We search every day within 100 of products and pick only the best of them for you guys to test. And with each product we pick, we give you every information that we think will be useful for you to save on your time and money of bad research. So this is basically what Ecomhunt does. This is the core of Ecomhunt. And obviously with time, we expanded to other stuff, such as the blog that you mentioned earlier. And we have this consultant that you can send a message anytime, and it can help you with your ads or store or whatever. And basically Ecomhunt started to turn from finding winners into a community that is here to help people to get started in the dropshipping business and help them to have a stable online store.
This is absolutely incredible. I mean, a couple of things that I personally really appreciate from what you did with Ecomhunt is, like you said, it started as your own kind of discovery tool for yourself, and you decided to share that. And I think providing value to the entrepreneur community, giving back, I think is a huge plus. And I think there's plenty of rewards that come both ways, if you do that. And I can see that with yourself. And, I appreciate the sincere effort that you've done to help the entrepreneurship community to find those winning products. And, it's absolutely awesome, man. I love the platform. And at the end of this podcast, I want people to check out the platform Ecomhunt, especially if you're doing dropshipping. I think it's a must-have platform or tool in your tool stack. So another thing that I want to kind of start diving a little bit deeper into dropshipping specifically, Mordechai. Now, in specifically when I was doing a bit of research about your journey, we found out that we found a transcript of a podcast you did with Oberlo. For those who don't know what Oberlo is, it's a software that integrates to Shopify to help you integrate AliExpress products that you can drop ship directly on Shopify. Now, what was really interesting about that transcript podcast, a lot of the questions that were based on what I read, I did feel like it offered a lot of value. And particularly, you mentioned that starting an online business has a huge learning curve, right?
Yeah.
Now, I understand this, but being in the e-commerce space myself, that's where back in 2013, that's when I first started dabbling into entrepreneurship. I came across e-commerce business models, specifically the Amazon model. But you see a lot of e-commerce ads for courses stating that they're really easy and there's no learning curve at all. So you jump in thinking, hey, this is going to be a breeze. Anyone can do this. I'm pretty sure even a child can do this. But based on experience, however, it's completely a different story. And I think we all know that everything has a huge learning curve. Now, what do you say, particularly in this regard? And does creating an online store actually have a huge learning curve or not?
Yeah. So basically, in most businesses, the amount of fractions that you have with the business are smaller than drop shipping. I'm sure that there are some businesses out there that have more fraction. But if you go to offline businesses, for example, if someone is opening a store, like a clothing store at a mall on his town, it doesn't have to think about marketing at all. Like, you just need to open a store, and the mall already have the traffic, so he doesn't have to do anything. The only fraction he has is to bring a nice brand, a nice looking store, nice products, and people will start buying. So this is kind of a simple process to do, but you still need to know a few stuff, about business, like a cash flow and find the right prices so you can make the right profits, and find suppliers and everything. There is a learning curve also in offline businesses, but online business is a bit different. For example, if you do drop shipping, you have to know, first of all, how to build an online store, which is something that takes time to learn, And even if you have the store and it's ready and you think it's beautiful, it's not yet optimized. You will start getting traffic, but no one will purchase, no one will buy anything from your store. And I see that question in the Ecomhunt community group almost every day. People post their store screenshot with over 200 visits without any purchases or add to cart. And the reason is because at some point you need to start learning how to optimize your store. Size, text, font size, buttons, colors, titles, pictures. You need to start learning about optimization, and optimization is a huge learning curve because it costs you time. Secondly, it costs money because you need to get traffic in order to know if what you changed on your website is actually good or bad. And the last thing is you need to have some kind of knowledge about optimization, like where to start, what to optimize. So this is the first part that I think that as this learning curve. The second part would be the marketing. Doing marketing on Facebook looks easy because it's just a few clicks, and Facebook made the UI, the user interface, so easy to use that, like you said, even a child can go on Facebook and start his first campaign in a few clicks. But unfortunately, launching a campaign is not the hard part. The hard part is optimizing that campaign, reading the numbers that you got, the results, and based on these numbers, taking action on your store or on the ads level. And the last part of dropshipping would be the fulfillment part, which is today kind of easy because there are, like I mentioned, there is Oberlo, there is Wii U, there is CJ Dropshipping. There are so many companies out there that will be happy to help you fulfilling those products from China directly to your customers. So the last part, I would say that that's the easy part of dropshipping. But I think that if you need to say one word that will be the huge learning curve of this entire industry, entire business model, is basically optimization.
Makes total sense. I guess, again, it's reiteration, testing, trialing, and you got to be a master at doing that to succeed in business. Because if you're not brave enough to change an ad or change something on your website and split test it and go down to the details, then you might not be getting the success that you deserve and you want to get. So totally get that. Now, I want to move into a bit about product selection, which I believe is your kind of part of your mastery, I would say. Tell us a little bit about what you would consider. I know you told us a little bit about product selection, but if you can go deep into, what are the most important criteria to consider during the product selection process?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good question, actually. And the first thing I wanna say about this product selection process is this is something I personally see on the support over on Ecomhunt, that people are sending me messages like, I went all over your website product and they are not good. No, and I'm looking at this message and I'm like, how did you decide that those products are not good? And the mistake that most people do with looking for products is that they ask themselves if they would buy this product. And this is a huge problem because eventually you are not the customer unless you're trying to sell products that you all have some kind of connection to. So for example, if you're into photography and you want to sell photography products, you will probably know which product will be the best to sell because you know what you want to sell. But if you're not into the niche that you're selling, you cannot really decide which products are good or not. Then, so my point here is don't judge the products that you're looking for based on your self-emotions. What you need to do is to go out there and research the audience that you want to sell to. So if you find a product, just do a research. Try to find which people are the right people to buy it. would they buy it? Try to look for the name of the product on Google and try to see if people are talking about this product. Go to YouTube and try to see reviews of people that already bought this product, and try to see what is the pain that they're facing with the product. Try to see why they made the purchase, what was the emotion. And just a quick tip here, a big part of the description that I'm writing about the product on my stores is basically quotes that I take from those reviews on YouTube. So I listen to what they say, and I take a paper and a pen and I start to list down what they're saying, like the cons, the pros, and basically eventually what I get on the paper is the description of the product, and I know exactly what I need to tell, what is the story that I need to tell about these products when I'm starting to selling it. So this is the first part of the product selection when you're selling on the store, about that winning product. So a winning product is basically something, first of all, it won't be easy to find in offline stores, because if it's something you can find anywhere, it will probably not be a winning product unless you have a huge advantage on the price. So if you can find a product that they're selling offline but it's expensive and you can offer it online 50% off or more, then you have a leverage, then you can turn it into a winning product. The second part is the wow effect. I like products that make me go wow. I like products that I think that when other people of the audience that I'm targeting will see this, will say like, wow, I need this product. This product looks really amazing. And the third one would be solving a problem. I saw that from back experience that most of the biggest success with dropshipping products were products that actually solve a problem. So try to find for those products and make your research, and I'm sure that you will see sales in no time if you know how to do this research properly.
Awesome, man. Again, just in particular to product selection, your general advice from what I've seen is that, startups should not start with niche products. I mean, personally, this is something new that I've seen. So this is challenging me on my ideas, that I'm a big believer in niche products. If you target a niche, you can go get more deeper into the audience segment, the who you want to target, becomes more clear. But I'd like you to enlighten us a little bit what you mean there. So you want to, instead you advise to start with general products. Could you explain what the difference is and what your reasoning behind that?
Yeah, so the reason behind it is more about budget and not specific about, like, there is a lot to consider when you're doing a general store and a niche store. And the first thing you want to consider is the budget. So most people that start dropshipping are expecting to make money online. Most people that start dropshipping are people that don't have the budget and they look to make an extra income while they do a day job. So this is most people that start dropshipping online. They look for making more money online. And if you're that specific person, I advise to go for a general store because it's cheaper to test different products. You can test a lot of you can test a lot of products in one store, regardless the niche. And if you go for a niche store, it will be more expensive because the variety of the products that you can find for that niche will be smaller, and you will probably have a bigger competition over that niche. So if you have a big budget, if you have a lot of money to invest and you want to go all in on that niche, then go for a niche store. I'm sure that if you do it right, you can find success there. But if you're tight on a budget and you want to test many different niches and many different products before you settle down on a specific niche, my advice is to go with a general store.
That makes total sense to me. So it gives me a lot more clarity now in terms of what you mean by starting with general products. So particularly tied down to budget, it makes sense. Now, I'd like to also ask you, how important is it? When I was in the Amazon business model, it was crucial for us to, buy a sample product from the supplier, check it out, be familiar with what you're selling. So in your opinion, how important is it to actually buy the product yourself, specifically for drop shipping and then listing it on the store? So yeah, if you could
I think this is the most important part of dropshipping, because it can save so much headache on the long run. So if you find a winning product and you start selling it, what happens is that your emotions take control of the business, and you want to scale very fast, because momentum is everything about business, and you want to scale fast. So you will start selling and you will start scaling, and you will get from 1 order a day to 10 orders a day, and then 50, 100, or 1,000 at some point. And eventually, if your product is bad and you never actually tested your product, you will start getting chargebacks and complaints, and basically you will kill your store reputation. And this is not something you want to do. Is this something you want to save by simply ordering one sample to your place, playing around with the product, see if it actually works, try to see how easy it is to break it, try to see if it's something that is easy to fix, and basically try to play around with that product as if you were the customer. And if it passes your test of product quality, and then you can start selling it online on your store.
Absolutely. Makes total sense. I think it's really important that, we know what we're selling as well. So I totally relate to that. But as I understand it at the moment, pretty much most dropshippers I come across, they want to sell on steroids, right? So they literally pick whatever product that's, potentially considered a trend or a winning product, get it on their store, no test, no nothing, no sampling, and just gets you straight to sales. But then the follow-up is really difficult, because the customer asks you a question on your website. If you don't have any customer support or customer or FAQs, then you're not really going to be providing or nurturing that customer as you want them to be. Now, I want to talk about pricing and advertising, but before that, since we're on the subject, do you think learning about your product has a lot to do with customer retention, I believe. Like you'll know the strategies. From my understanding, you'll know the strategies of how to keep that customer within your ecosystem, because you can have good and sincere and transparent dialogue with them. But in your experience, is there other methods to accomplish customer retention specifically?
Yeah, customer retention is a tricky part, because most dropshippers are focused on customer acquisition and not on the retention part. And I think that this is the big killer of most online stores. So they are all focused on bringing new traffic all the time to the website, and they totally forget about the traffic that they already brought to the website, the traffic that they already paid money to bring to their brand, to bring to their website. And those people are the fuel of your growth on the long run. And the way you do it is, first of all, follow up your customers via email, via SMS, via push notifications. Whatever method you have to communicate with your customers, I would totally use it, and try to always reminding them that you are here and that you are a real brand and not like a one-time store, So you want to sell them, you want to send them updates, you want to send them news, you want to tell them stuff about your brand, you want to tell them to share with your customer the story of your store. Basically, you want to be there all the time with them. So you will be offering promotions, discounts. For example, in the photography store we had, what we did is basically 3 emails every week. So the first one would be an email about a news, something about photography, something new about the photography niche. The second email was always a one product big sale. So we're picking up a product every Tuesday, I think, and we're giving a huge discount on it and send out to the email list. And at the end of the week, like every weekend, we're sending out emails about our weekly offers. So we're creating a new collection on the store with products that we picked, and we were giving a huge discount all over this collection. So customers saw that had this feeling that we're actually a real brand. We're actually here. We're not going to disappear. We're not going to go anywhere. We will keep sending them. We keep offering them new products, new cool products. And I think that this is basically the retention process. One last thing that we did, and we saw like a huge upside of doing that, is to personally call the customers via phone. So
that's very new to me.
Made a purchase on the store, we were calling him the same day, like, hey, how are you? We saw that you purchased this product. I'm calling from the whatever store you have, and I was wondering if you had any problems on the checkout process. How did it feel to buy from us? Was it easy? Do you have any questions? Do you need any help? And customers were amazed to get this phone call. They were all excited. Oh my God, are you from that store? Yeah, your store is amazing. And all this good vibe from your customers make you want to sell them even more. It gives you motivation to continue and to try hacking your store into success.
Yeah, I think that's again incredible because it's relatable to me, specifically in the software space or even in physical products. It makes total sense because there's a lot of companies, like you said, they're ghost companies. They sell you a product, you see an advert, you purchase from them, and there's zero follow-up, there's zero communication. And I think that's where you're not building a loyal following. I think communication builds your brand, and it's part of authority building. And if you're not having those touch points through email, through the system you put in place, which is the one phone call after they purchase, I think you're missing a massive opportunity. So totally agree with that. And I think what I like about what you guys did specifically is the email sequence. You mentioned that, hey, you're doing product offers and you're telling them about the different offers you do, but you're also giving them valuable content, right? And I think that's really cool. If you can slot in a newsletter with some valuable content, specifically like you guys being in this photography niche. Photographers are really passionate. I know because I have a little bit of a passion in photography, and I want to know about the new products. I want to know about the new techniques and stuff like that. So there alone, you're getting a massive opportunity to build relationships with potentially all the traffic you're sending on your website. And I think that's a key takeaway, Mordechai. So thanks a lot for letting us know about that process. I want to go now into pricing a product. Okay, so there's always, if you go on AliExpress and you're going to do drop shipping, there's that base price there that you have to then, create your margins on. And even if you're sourcing directly from any supplier, you got to create your margins on. There's competitors, and competitors are saturated no matter what space you get into. And as you may know that, and I think everyone in e-commerce will know that, you'll see prices varying from the higher tier in your product range to the lower tier. And so, where do you compete? What's your pricing strategy? Could you tell us about your particular strategy, how you work out pricing?
Yeah. So first of all, about pricing, you can either go the expensive way or go the cheap way. And what I mean by that is you can always price your product really expensive and you can always price it very low. This is your decision to make. Depends on your business strategy. It depends on what you're looking to achieve by pricing that product at the price that you state on your page. So, for example, one of the mistakes that I see is that people price. They calculate their margins. They calculate how much money they will have at the end of this journey in their pocket. And I think that this is the wrong way to look when you're trying to build a business. What you want to do is try to think as a business owner. How much would it cost me to bring a loyal customer to my store? A customer that will buy all over again and again from your specific brand. And to do so, you need to decide what is the right strategy for a product pricing. So if you go for a cheap price, obviously you will get more customers on your store. But that means that maybe most of them are people that don't have a big budget to buy, for example, next week from your store again. So if you raise the price, you would bring people that have a better economic situation, so they will be able to buy again on your next promotion. So that really depends on what kind of products you're selling. So if your store specializes in selling cheap products, the people that have tight budget would probably be able to buy again from your store. But if your store is in a niche that has expensive products, I would not go on the approach of trying to sell cheap, because eventually you will bring customers that will never buy again from your store. So that really depends on your business strategy and what you're trying to achieve from that store. If you're just looking to make sales and you never made any sales on your store, just lower your price even to the exact same price you see on AliExpress, lose a bit of money on every customer that purchases that product, but you will start getting sales. And maybe that's the motivation you're looking for before digging into a business strategy and actually thinking about how to turn this dropshipping business into the real deal, into a stable online income.
Absolutely. There's one thing I wish I kind of touched a bit earlier in this session, but we spoke about customer retention and pricing a product. Now, my understanding from a lot of funnel strategies, specifically for drop shipping, is that you can price a product, like you said, on a lower tier so that you can attract customers. And I think it's a great way to at least get your engine going. If you lower the price, you can start to at least make a few sales, perhaps. What about then attracting them and then upselling them afterwards? Are you a big believer in the upsell process once they're inside your funnel?
Yeah, so that's actually a really, really good one. I never thought about it. I do remember running stores without any upsells on them. But my biggest success was by using upsells and downsells on my sales funnel. So I'm trying to be objective about this question. I think that upselling a product is kind of complicated because it takes time to find the right product to upsell. And sometimes customers, a type of customers don't like that upsells, and it will make this burnout effect, and they will never buy again from you because they will feel that you're trying to squeeze them, to push them into buying stuff that they don't need. So you need to be really smart about this all upselling thing, and you need to find the right product that actually adds value to the customer. So when they see this upsell, they will have the feeling that you are actually trying to help them out by giving them something that will help them solve their problem even more, and not just take this product because it's cheap now and it has a big discount, so you need to buy this right now, and try to push them into stuff that they don't need or don't want.
That makes total sense. I guess the mindset is like, you shouldn't have the mindset to like buy, but more giving value to them, right? Giving value that makes sense, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. Okay, so we're coming to the last part of the session, man, which is a massive shame because just in this one interview alone, I think personally I've learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience is going to get tons of value, man. So really appreciate your time with us. I want to say that in advance. Now, just before we close off, we've got a couple of last questions here. Now, targeting and advertising, marketing, this is like, I think, the biggest, battlefield for any entrepreneur, right? So choosing your target audience, I know it's not as easy as it sounds, but how do you get that right? Because I know it plays a crucial role in all of your succeeding in your marketing efforts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So finding the right target audience. Yeah. The right target audience is also tricky. I say that word a lot. The tricky word is because this entire business is a Pandora box. And even if you see a lot of trainings and you watch a lot of videos and you think that you can learn everything before doing the actual work, then you will be surprised to see how many problems you will be facing when you're doing this business. Some of them are positive problems. Some of them are less happy. And this is the same thing with the target audience. Um, I see it a lot of people doing targeting over on Facebook, for example. And what they do is they pick a niche, they jump directly on their Facebook campaign and start typing words that are related to the niche they're trying to find and start to basically build their targeting this way. And they're missing a huge process on the way, which is the research phase. And I'm a big believer of researching and optimization and learning every aspect of what you're trying to sell and who is your end buyer, And by doing research, you can learn so much. So, for example, if you go to photography niche, and I will reveal one of my best converting interest in this niche, is that most people, when I ask them like, what would you target if you do the photography niche? So, for example, you said that you have some kind of connection to photography. What would be the interest that you would use to target this audience?
I mean, my personal interest for photography could be something like cameras, I guess, would be the first thing that comes to my mind. But to go deeper into interest specifically, I'd probably think about different types of photography styles, maybe, like landscape and, maybe some famous artists who are photographers as well. That's what comes to my mind.
Exactly. So when I first researched on how to target these photographers, the first thing that I found out is that, like you said, there are a lot of different types of photographers, which I didn't know it started. For me, photography, that's it. Like, let's target photography. Then you have Canon, then you have Nikon, and that's it. My work is done, and I run ads. And when I start researching, I found that, like you said, exactly like you said, there is landscape photography, wedding, portrait, city, cars, mobile photographers. There are a lot of different photographers out there. So this is the first thing I learned about it. Now, the real when I really found that the interest that was the winner for me, like you have a winning product, you also have winning interests. And that winning interest for me is to find something that an ordinary person will never know because he is not a photographer. So for example, if I tell you a name of a tripod brand, you will probably know that brand because you're into photography. But if I go to some random person which is not into photography and I will tell him, do you know what is, Manfrotto? He would be like, what are you talking about? Is this English? And, he would not even know what I'm referring to. And for me, those interests, those words, those slangs, those brands that no one knows about, but only the niche that I'm targeting knows about, those are the winning interests. So one last thing, I promised that I will reveal one of the interests that works really good on photography. And if you go to do photography niche, use this interest. I promise you, you will see really good results. And that interest is targeting a software. The name of the software is Lightroom, if I recall. And right, Lightroom, this is the name, right?
You're right. Yes, Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom. It's all photographers. If you're not a photographer, then you would know. I mean, if you're a pro photographer, you know Lightroom, no doubt.
Exactly. So this is the target you should go for. Only photographers use this software. It's a software to manipulate images and make them look better after you shot them with your camera. So if you target that interest and you have a good product, you will probably make sales. This is my free tip for you guys.
Makes sense. I think that's a great takeaway for the day already, along with a lot of other stuff that we've taken from this particular session. I'm going into the closing question, Mordechai. So actually, it's a two-part question, if you don't mind. So number one is just a quick fire. What are the non-negotiable apps that an e-commerce store needs, an e-commerce store owner needs? I know there's plenty of apps out there, and I'm pretty sure you're pretty advanced, so you have all kinds of apps. But what are those essential non-negotiable apps that they need?
Yeah. So what you need is a fulfillment app, which is Oberlo, and it doesn't cost you any money. And the second one, I would say it's a reviews app that will make your page look good with images of the customers that uh, are purchasing this product. This would be the second app that you need on your store. The last one would be Lucky Orange or Hotjar, whatever you want to use. This is an app that records your customers' action all on your store. So when they're browsing your store, you can see exactly what they did, when they stopped, why they didn't buy. Is there a bug on my website? Is there something broken on the way, on the process? And those are the three apps that I recommend to use when you start a store. All of them are free, so you don't need to waste any money or on buying apps that you don't need. Just go simple, start lean, and as soon as you start getting sales and you understand what you need to do in order to land a customer, this is when you want to start installing apps and start A/B testing. Maybe add a timer, maybe exit pop-up, maybe a welcome pop-up, or whatever you want to do. But first of all, learn your numbers before you start optimizing your store with softwares that people are trying to sell you all over the place.
I think that's really important. Just your advice to stay lean. Again, I'm a massive believer in that. Any startup should start lean so that you can, learn the basics and then scale with that. We're at the closing question, Mordechai. So I know this is a very general question. I think so many entrepreneurs get asked this, but I think it's very important in our context because e-commerce, specifically dropshipping, has so many people entering into this business model almost as a stepping stone. And I think there's hundreds of thousands of dropshippers coming into the business pretty much every other year. So what do you think is a reasonable amount of money you need to start get started with dropshipping?
So most people that want them to make you buy their courses would tell you that you need $100 and you can start going because Shopify is free and softwares are free and everything is basically free. But in my opinion, you have so much stuff that you have to how do you call it? A lot of stuff that you need to take in count, and those are the Facebook ads. Those kind of stuff costs a lot of money, and you need to test a lot, and this costs a lot of money. Now, when I'm saying a lot of money, I mean about $1,000 to this project, to this business would be something to start with. So if you don't have $1,000, I suggest you to collect that money, to save that amount of money. And when you start like a real business owner. Don't be scared to spend your money on ads, because eventually those ads will tell you exactly what's the problem with your store, product, or your ad. So I would say $1,000. This is something that makes sense to me in person.
Perfect. Awesome, man. Mordechai, it's been an amazing session. Thanks a lot for taking your time to be with us, with the Glorified community. I personally learned a lot, and I'm just really excited for the Glorified community to listen into this podcast and dive in deep. Guys, everyone listening, okay, just take, this particular podcast session is packed with golden nuggets throughout. So give it a listen, and in fact, re-listen it, because you might find other little niches of other golden nuggets that you might not have found before. And that's the whole point of having a podcast at your disposal, is to increase your learning curve with ease, while you're going about your day. And so dive right into this, especially if you're, trying to start an e-commerce business. I think drop shipping is probably the best stepping stone into the e-commerce world. And then you can even become more advanced as you master that. You become more advanced as an e-commerce company. So I think there's so much opportunity here alone, and Mordechai has been through it and has done it all. So again, man, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully we'll have you in another session another time as you keep moving through your entrepreneurship journey, man. And guys, one last thing, go ahead and check out ecomhunt.com. I think this is a really important must-have platform for you to be aware of, for you to, find, definitely get kickstarted in dropshipping. So you can find a product that perhaps you're passionate about and that you find very relatable, and launch that plus because it's a winning product that these guys have specifically narrowed down through their own research. So I think there's a massive opportunity there alone. Mordechai, again, massive thank you, man. I hope I'll catch you in the near future. Take care, man.
Thank you very much as well for hosting me on this amazing podcast. And yeah, it was a real pleasure sharing stuff that I've been through, and I hope that the listeners will find useful some of the stuff that I said and will actually take action and try to build a real business and not just a one-time store. And don't be shy to send me messages, guys. If you have a success, if you have a question, just feel free. You can send me on Facebook or whatever, and I will do my best to answer your questions.